The Carbines in Battlefield 4 are going to be a force to reckon with. Hey there broskies, it's Lupus, and today we'll be talking to you guys about the Carbines within Battlefield 4 and what changes have been made to make them a significant presence on the battlefield. So first off, the gameplay in the background is going to be two gameplays, one using the AK-5C and one using the ACWR. Those are the only two carbines within the beta, and overall both of them are very well in performance, and I do pretty good in both gameplays. So if you guys think that you might want to just use the carbines and see if you can do as good as I did in these gameplays, then definitely give it a go. And if you guys are wondering, the music at the beginning of this video was actually the official Battlefield 4 soundtrack, which has been released in full, and overall it is really cool. I think it's even better than the Battlefield 3 soundtrack, and I really do think that it sounds really epic at the beginning of this video, and I hope you guys did enjoy. In order to get the carbines initially, you have to use the engineer class, which kind of makes sense. I like what DICE decided to do in order to do this. You unlock the carbines by using the class that they were originally exclusive to in the previous game, but then once you have unlocked them, you can use them for all of the classes, and this will kind of prevent people who maybe always use the medic class. They actually have to use the engineer class a little bit in order to unlock more of those weapons that they might want to use, which could end up making them like the engineer class even more, and who knows what will end up happening from there. But overall, the carbines have been improved a ton since Battlefield 3. In Battlefield 3, they didn't have any significant wow factors to them. They're pretty standard damage, nothing extremely special about them. The assault rifles definitely outperform them in almost every way. But in Battlefield 4, they've kind of changed this. Overall, the statistics are very similar to the assault rifles. The only difference being that the mobility is a little bit better on the carbines, which doesn't make much of a difference, but it does make enough of a difference for you to actually feel like the gun is able to beat an assault rifle in a head-to-head gunfight. I've noticed that out of the two carbines rather, I prefer the AK-5C. The ACWR does do better at close range just because of its really high firing rate, but to me the AK-5C is better all around just because whenever there's people off in the distance, I feel like if I'm bursting with the AK-5C, it kind of comes back to the center a little bit faster, and it's just a little bit less recoil, a little bit less jump whenever you're shooting, as opposed to the ACWR when you're shooting at range. But the ACWR definitely does perform a little bit better at close range because of that higher firing rate. Overall, the reload times are fairly fast as well, so if you're wondering how long will it take you to reload these guns, I find them to be one of the fastest too within the game, but I'm not sure, I don't have the exact times for the reloads, but to me the AK-5C and the ACWR definitely reload pretty fast, especially compared to the assault rifles in my eyes. Now, I don't exactly want to recommend that you guys only use the carbines, but I definitely do think that they can kind of improve your game. Because to me, whenever I got into Battlefield 4, I wasn't awful in the beginning. I've had a positive KD the entire time that I've played it, but I wasn't really super good. I wasn't excelling at anything. And whenever I unlocked the carbines, I started using them. I got good with the carbines. Then I went back to some of the other guns, such as the PDWs, the assault rifles, the LMGs, and I found myself doing better with them just because whenever I used the carbines, I felt like I got a good feel for the game. So if you're not doing very good with Battlefield 4 right now and you really want to improve your game, I definitely recommend using one of the carbines, getting better at the game. They are a little bit easier to use, and once you've gotten used to using the carbines, you can then go and try out some of the other weapons, see if you might have improved by doing that. I would give you guys a preferred loadout for attachments on the carbines, but seeing as this is just the beta, we don't really get a good look at all of the attachments. So when the full game comes out, I'm going to test out all of the attachments and then make a decision on which ones I think would be best for you guys just starting off. One more thing I wanted to talk about was the rest of the carbines that we're going to get to see within the final game. One of those being the M4A1. From what I've seen from these other two carbines that are in the beta, with their really good damage, their fast reload time, and overall low recoil and just well-roundedness, I think the M4A1 is going to be the new M16. In Battlefield 3, it was very overlooked, seeing as it was just a carbine and it didn't excel in any way. It was a very well-performing carbine, and to me it was my favorite, but I'm probably one of the very few to say that. It was basically the M16's little sister, and it was outshined in every way by the M16. But that's not to say it was a bad gun. In Battlefield 4, I think it's going to come back with a renewed damage, a renewed everything. All the stats are going to be improved, and the M4A1 could potentially be the new M16 for all of you M16A3 lovers out there, because it does have a very similar look to it, and it will probably have very similar recoil and damage to the M16 that we see in Battlefield 3. So for all of you guys who might have been wondering, the M16A3 is dead, never going to get to see that thing again, the M4A1 could potentially be its replacement. And the thing about that is that the M4A1 will be able to be used on all of the classes, which is going to be pretty significant. I do feel like the Carbines are going to be really good within Battlefield 4, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be overpowered. The assault rifles are definitely just neck and neck with stats according to a lot of the stats that I've seen on Battlelog, but I definitely think the Carbines are going to be something that is a little bit more noob friendly and a little bit more of a try-hard weapon class to use. And I hope you guys did like this video. If you found it very informational, be sure to smack that like button. And if you have a preferred carbine between the two, then leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.